Welcome to Stormy Willow, where we explore the paranormal, celebrate the odd, and never trust the living. I'm your host, Adele, emotionally beige.
And I'm your host, Sarah. Shit ass original.
Oh, yeah, you are the shit ass OG. Thanks,
I
Paul.
am the I am the shit ass OG. And listeners, if you don't know that story, I'm just gonna tell you that our beloved Grandpa Herman used to call me that as a pet name. So yeah, picking me up from school, screaming out the car, get in the car, shit ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of, I guess, past relatives, I have a crazy booger news story.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, this is from the New York Post. And burial gone bad. Pallbearers fall into grave during funeral. And it's being from a family who is notoriously has funeral fiascos. We totally sympathize with these people.
We really do. We've been there,
Like,
guys.
we get it. Yeah, this is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Very recent, happened on April 9th, 2025. A routine funeral service turned into a real life grave situation when multiple pallbearers fell into a burial plot while carrying a casket at a Philadelphia cemetery. It's not funny, but we can't help it. We laugh when people fall.
We do.
According to reports, the family was in the final moments of laying their loved one to rest when the ground around the grave gave way. The casket tipped, and several pallbearers, including the son of the man being buried, plummeted into the open grave. The son was reportedly knocked unconscious during the fall. Uh,
Oh,
the the incident,
that makes it even funnier.
right? Just he got knocked out with his own dad's casket. That's pretty dark, man. Poor guy. The incident, which occurred in front of grieving friends and family, quickly escalated into a scene of confusion and panic. Emergency services were called, and those who fell in were eventually helped out of the grave. No life threatening injuries were reported, but the emotional toll was immediate. The family is now suing the cemetery, citing emotional distress and negligence. Their
Oh.
attorney stated that the service was meant to honor a man deeply loved and instead ended in horror, chaos, and trauma. We are so sorry. And we are not laughing at the family, we're laughing at the outrageous situation.
I mean, what a way to go, though.
But it's memorable, right?
It's memorable. Like, what a way to honor your loved one.
It's, I don't know, it almost
It's
feels
tragic. It is
like
terrible, and I'm not making fun of the family, but it's funny. It's
it's like a
funny.
cosmic joke, right? At this
It's
point, when something like this happens, it feels like it's like you're so sad and need a distraction, and then something
yeah.
outrageous at a funeral happens.
Universe just knew that things needed to be lightened up. Just kind of like, all right, we're right here at Easter. My favorite movie in the world is still Magnolias. It was just kind of like one of those here, hit Weezer moments.
Yeah,
Top 10. But things were getting entirely too intense,
yeah,
you know? But I can't imagine, like, that is a lot of like emotions, like devastation, panic, having to have emergency services coming on in to, rescue you. I mean, that's a lot. That is a lot.
I just imagine myself in the same situation, I guess, as the
No,
son. And
no.
it's like I would be so mad and upset, but then I imagine myself like later that night with my head bandaged, crying, and then starting to laugh.
But no, no. We both know that I would be the son in that
Well,
situation,
yeah,
and you would be the one trying to like get out of the hole, the
I wouldn't
ground.
even fall in the hole. I'd be at the back, like, oh no, I just
Yeah.
fell in.
Basically, guys, I would be the one.
I don't think we've ever had a funeral that hasn't had anything weird happen.
No, I don't think we have. So, this doesn't even shock me, to be
He
honest
fell
with
through
you.
the floor at grandma's.
Still have the scar.
There was an altercation at grandpa's.
Yes.
Um,
Um, our grandma and her casket almost went rolling as well.
one of
Um,
our cousin Ben, who was a pallbearer, fell at grandma's. Yeah.
yeah, so we get it. Like we completely get it. We've been there. It's a lot. It's a lot happening.
So
Um,
yeah, we're with
yeah,
you.
yeah, but I hope you find peace. Um,
up, should we get to
Let's
this week's
do
Astro
it.
forecast?
Listen, I'm still reeling over the energy of the pink full moon last night. Like I've definitely been feeling the full moon energy. So let's see what's gonna happen now that it's over.
Okay, this is actually, I think, the best forecast we've had in a very
Well,
long time.
that's a different trend for us. I was already just like, here we go again. Here we
Yeah, man. I think it looks pretty good actually. So this is your forecast for April 14th to the 20th, 2025. So Monday, April the 14th, Mercury in Aries sextiles Mars and Gemini. This is a power up for communication and
Oh,
courage. Expect fast decisions, bold words, and energized conversations. Great day to initiate something or speak your truth. Those who will be most affected will, of course, be
boy.
Aries, Gemini,
All
and
right.
Virgo. Tuesday, April 15th, tax
Mm.
day. Bleh. Venus conjunct
It's
Uranus.
not a
It's not a
Uranus this
Uranus
week.
this time.
Okay, nice.
Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is always good. A little chaos in the love and money department. Sudden changes or surprises could shake up your usual patterns, but embrace the unconventional. Most affected will be Taurus, Libra, and
Oh,
Aquarius. So still not
okay.
too bad. Just some things getting
Okay.
shaken up a little bit.
We're all feeling that. So
Doesn't mean
don't feel
it's
bad.
bad, right? And then Wednesday, April 16th, Mercury enters Aries. So say what you mean what you say. Mercury in Aries brings bold thoughts and fiery speech. Just don't burn any bridges unless you mean it. So they're not saying don't do it, just be
Listen,
intentional. And
that strikes me.
hello.
I've got a wildebeest tongue, so
Yeah. Well, if you say it, mean
uh-oh.
it. Otherwise,
Uh-oh.
don't say
That's
it.
hard when you're high
The most
drama,
I
when you're
know, I
theatrical.
know. Well, at least you're not on like the most affected list. The most affected will be Aries, Leo, and
Okay.
Sagittarius. So you might
That's
be
good.
safe. Then Thursday, April 17th, Mars and Gemini square Neptune and Pisces. And this one's tricky. Energy may feel scattered or foggy. Watch out for deception or unclear motives. Think twice before leaping. So just a little bit of caution
Okay.
on that day. I don't think that's the worst. It's definitely not the
Definitely not the
worst.
worst.
Most effective will be Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. Man,
And Gemini
Sagittarius,
this
you're going
week.
through a lot this week. Yeah. And then Friday, April 18th, Mars enters Leo.
Uh-oh.
Drama, flair, ambition
Here
light
we
up.
go.
This transit favors creativity, courage, and leadership, but also tempers may
Oh
run
yeah,
high.
okay. That sounds like Adele to a
Step into
T.
your spot. Yeah, it does. Step into your spotlight, but stay classy. Most affected will be Leo, Aries, and Scorpio.
Adele, please stay classy this week, okay?
Keep it classy, Coke horse. Saturday, April 19th, Sun enters Taurus, so time to slow down, ground yourself, and enjoy the finer things. Taurus season is here to help us get cozy, stay consistent, and build something that lasts. So, most affected will, of course, be Taurus, also Virgo and Capricorn. And then Sunday, April 20th, Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Major shakeups in fortune and
Oh,
values. This once in a lifetime transit screams breakthrough. Expect wild twists in money, luck, or
whoa.
freedom. Most affected will be Taurus, Aquarius, and Sagittarius.
Wow, guys.
And
I'm
that's our
excited to see
week.
what things you break through, friends. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What a week.
So I think it sounds like an
I
exciting week
think so
ahead.
too, and that's a good trend for us. We'll take it. We'll accept. We'll
Okay.
accept this one. We'll take
We'll
it.
take it. Don't really have a
Yeah, we don't.
choice,
We don't have to like it, but I mean, I don't mind this one.
but we
I
have to
mean, yeah,
do
we have
it.
to do it, but oh my goodness. Wait,
All right, back to you in the studio.
guys, I have the craziest story for you all today. Now, I landed on Colt, and I just have to tell you, this lady is crazy as hell, and you're gonna love this story. So here we go. We're digging in.
Let's do it.
All right. So we're going to talk today about something that we typically don't associate with horror stories. And it centers and it started with weight loss. Okay.
All
I mean,
right.
I guess it could be a horror story, depending. But let's just, let's travel back to the 1990s, all right? Which, sidebar, I have a funny story to tell you guys. I was out and about running some errands, and this lady that was working a cash register, she's like, oh, not to me, but to another customer, said, your total is 1996. And she's like, God, I miss the 90s. And literally, 20 people in line were talking about how much we miss the 90s and how much the 2000s have just not been great. It was hilarious. It was a connection. So we're going back to the great world of the 90s, all right?
The
But,
good old days.
the 90s, just like every generation, people were kind of lured into like a weight loss situation, right? Like you want to feel
Yeah, I will
fit.
say the 90s were not a good time for chubby people.
Yeah, exactly.
A
So
lot of fat shaming.
So here we are in the 90s where, you could not only lose weight, but if you lost the weight, you would also get spiritual freedom. So here we go.
All right.
So you might have been compelled to reach out and, get you a membership to the Way Down workshop. So at first glance, you're like, okay, this is like a church-based self-help program where you would get VHS tapes. I don't know, some of our listeners are young, but yep, we used to do everything on the VHS. But you would, if you got a subscription to the Way Down workshop, you would get your tapes, you would get your prayer journals, you would get your praise music.
Would you get those like trash bag looking track suits?
You might, for an extra $24.99. You could also get a trash bag suit and maybe like a Weight Watchers casserole, okay?
Ew.
So people would gather in a fellowship hall, right? To be like, yeah, let's do this. Like we're
Was it
gonna
a
leave
fellowship hall or a gym?
gym/fellowship hall. You bring out the banquet tables, we're gonna pop in the VHS, and we're gonna not only get fit, we're gonna get spiritually fit.
Oh yeah.
See where I'm going here with this?
You gotta surrender to the higher power, just like
You
in
have
AA,
to.
right?
Exactly. So, at the time, people were like, this is a great thing. I'm with my church homies. I'm losing weight. I'm feeling spiritually lifted. This is fantastic. But behind the scenes of the Way Down workshop was a springboard for something much, much more insidious. Dun dun dun. A cult? Question mark. And I would say that this cult blurred the line between salvation and starvation.
It's only called a cult after something bad happens. Otherwise, it's just a group or a religion.
Well, listen, those are words of wisdom to live by there, Adele. So at the center of all of this was this woman named Gwen Shamblin Lara. Now, Gwen was this bouffant, I'm talking big ol' haired blonde lady with this mega church kind of ego, and she was just like, I'm the hotline to God kind of gal, And so she was someone that you could see where people would be mesmerized by, oh my gosh, she's so fit, she's so pretty, God's answering her prayers. I want to be like this lady. So let's rewind and play this tape and see how it all turns out. So here we go. Gwen Shamblin, born in 1955, Memphis, Tennessee. She is smack dab in the Bible Belt, okay? She was raised in the Church of Christ, a denomination known for its strict interpretation of Scripture and, of course, its deep roots in Southern religious lifestyle. Some of you may know it today as probably something like the Heritage Foundation and another cult. Whatever. So Gwen wasn't a preacher's kid, though, and she wasn't a choir girl. She was actually very intelligent, and she earned a bachelor's in nutrition and dietetics from the University of Tennessee, and she even got her master's in food and nutrition. So she really quite educated. She worked as a faculty member at Memphis State University, and she also spent time in the city's health department helping people manage obesity. So you're thinking, okay, like she's doing some good stuff. So on paper, she looks legit, right? We got
pillar of the community, one might say.
One might say. I mean, she's educated, she has credentials. I mean, she is just Southern as cornbread, and she's deeply religious. So obviously people really like her. So in the late 80s, she started combining her two worlds. She's like, you know what? How can I combine faith and nutrition into a philosophy that would make me famous? And
Wow.
here we go. So she says, quote, God showed me that the key to weight loss, it wasn't food, Adele. You know what it was?
Prayer.
It was heart. Overeating was a spiritual problem.
Oh,
not
no.
Gwen.
Okay.
So then, Weight Down Workshop was born, a Christian weight loss program that rejected traditional dieting and instead encouraged people, are you ready? You just need to pray through your hunger.
So would we take it as far as possibly her believing that obesity is demonic?
Yes.
Okay. That jives with her background.
Yeah.
We grew up in churches like this, guys.
Yeah.
I knew she was gonna say it was demonic.
Let's say it's an affliction, if you would.
There you go.
You need
It's not the center, it's the sin.
It's not the sinner, it's the fact that you love food more than God.
Yeah.
So you're a glutton, if
Yep.
you will. So here we go. We're the late 80s. She's combining these ideas, and then we are like fast forwarding through to the mid 90s, where the Way Down Workshop has freaking exploded. Okay, so not only is it in your churches, she also published her best-selling book, The Way Down Diet. So in 1997, this book sold over 1 million copies. Okay, a lot of people trying to lose weight for the Lord situation.
Did it work?
Well, Adele, here's the kicker. The method was working for people, or at least it felt like it was. So she told followers to eat when they were truly hungry and stop when they were full. But here's the most important. She told them to fill the void in their life with God, not food. So you're feeling a little pain in your stomach? Hit your knees, don't hit the fridge.
I mean, she's right, I guess, in addiction transfer.
Well, to be fair, this sounded like a godsend, like literally. It's like women, especially during that time, had tried like every diet under the sun, right? So we're talking back then, we're like doing Slim Fast, Atkins, Weight Watchers, the meetings. Our dad, I remember like this. I mean, the shit he went through, like the meetings and all this stuff, it's horrible. It really is. It's terrible. So, I mean, you remember like the fat-free snack wells, all that stuff. Like, this is the era we're in.
Like Diet Coke is all the rage because now
Yes.
whatever you want.
Yeah, it's like just our diet, right?
Yeah, it's like the rise of diet soda, diet everything,
Exactly. Diet everything.
sugar-free everything.
And so it's like, then here comes this soft-spoken, big-haired Southern lady telling you, hey, stop obsessing over calories and just pray. Sounds great to me. Why not? So her teaching spread through, we're talking thousands of churches, and some would actually hold workshops weekly. It's like, oh, gotta go to my meeting at the church. Others even hosted weekend retreats for women. So they'd be like, oh, I'm going to my women's weekend retreat where we would do Bible studies with Gwen's face on a little CRT TV in the corner and like praise Jesus together and starve together. So
This is just bringing back, I think, like traumatic memories
you're like,
of life in like middle school.
Adele had to step away for a few minutes. I don't know if she was in a corner over there. Just sweating. She's like, I can't get through this story.
Not that I went through it. It's more like just the adult, like observing adults doing these things, being like,
and
what?
Steven and I were talking about this. Like, we were watching like old, like late 80s, early 90s, like commercials, and they had one, I think it was Pizza Hut, and they're like, you can bring the whole family. Dad could have a beer. We can have like the kids. We can get these this nice hot cheesy pizza, and it's all the salad for mom. And I was
Yeah.
like, Mom have a
Mom
pint
can't
of
have
beer
carbs.
and a slice of pizza. I'm like, ooh. But
Yeah.
that's how it was marketed, right? Like, well, Mom can get a salad and the kids and Dad can eat the damn pizza. Like, screw
It's
you.
like the if you've ever seen the movie Fried Green Tomatoes,
Oh,
it's the
yeah.
whole character that Kathy Bates plays. That was this time period.
That was this time period, yeah. Where, yeah, bless her, like she's trying to lose every inch she can and get on
Get on
that
all these crazy
stairmaster and crazy diets. Yes.
and meeting
Very, very
food.
toxic, very sexist and toxic. And I'm not saying that all men didn't, because like our dad, I hope he doesn't mind I'm sharing this. He went through this, like where
Yeah,
he tried to control his weight. So I don't want to say that men didn't either, have issues, but it just was very targeted towards women
yeah.
being skinny and all of this garbage. So let's flip back here. So behind the scenes of Gwen's life here, she was really loving life, and she was like, I've got what? Control. And so workshop leaders were expected to basically, because you could build like also a pyramid scheme, right? It's like not only can you be a part of this, you might one day be a workshop leader. What?
Spiritual Avon.
It's spiritual Avon. It's like, I'm a workshop leader now, okay? I have a flock of my own.
You can also work up to this too.
So Gwen is like got these this posse of workshop leaders that were really expected to like toe the line, okay? If they didn't, their asses were out. Like she didn't play. And so she began discouraging affiliation with any other church leaders. She saw herself she's like, I'm not just a teacher, but I'm the one who truly cracked God's code to weight loss. So like you're beneath me. So here we go.
Richard
So,
Simmons. Mm-mm.
oh,
No, it's not from the Lord.
so we're going to 1999, where Gwen went from workshop host, okay, to now she's like, I'm just gonna build my own fucking church. I'm gonna be a church founder next.
Okay, I mean, why not?
I mean, so she broke off from the mainstream Christianity and she founded the Remnant Fellowship Church in Brentwood, Tennessee. Now, Brentwood isn't exactly backwoods, you guys. We're talking like gated communities, luxury SUVs, and that whole weird Southern prosperity gospel kind of energy there in Brentwood.
But
So
I'm just telling
basically,
you, anytime a church or group starts with remnant or ladder or somehow
away.
they're like the last of something,
Get out
it's
there.
a cult.
It's a cult. It's a cult. So basically, like this community would be like Stepford Wives with Bible verses kind of energy. And Gwen was just like their queen. Like they loved her. Like they're like, she looks the look, she walks the walk. Gwen is it, So she went from the like remnant of like, this is a different kind of church, right? We're not like any other church. Our services are focused on obedience, weight loss, and spiritual discipline. And so she began like preaching like that thinness was not just about health, but it was a sign that you were right with God. So like if you're chunky, you're obviously not a Christian.
You don't prioritize.
You have no business. And so overeating, she says, is a sin, and gaining weight just means that you are a spiritual failure. Okay.
Wow. This is so funny. It's like the complete opposite of that other cult where they believe in like grounding and eating carbs.
Well, listen, I think she missed the part where Jesus broke bread and poured wine. She's like, carbs, no, sir.
Mm-mm.
No, you need to pray it out. It's she just omits that part, of the Bible or whatever.
Like all the
like,
food references, which are a lot.
Like
Last Supper, they didn't eat anything.
Like they just hung out and they prayed through because they wanted to eat. So yeah. So she just preached that parents like okay, now we're getting into some really horrible like this isn't bad enough. It gets worse. So then she furthers her theology and says that parents have total authority over their children and that disobedience could and should be punished hard, okay? So most controversially, Gwen began to reject the doctrine of the Trinity, and she didn't believe that Jesus was equal to God, probably because he ate and stuff. So it's like he ate, he's out. And she believed in a one God only. The spoiler alert, she was positioning herself as his spokesperson. Like there's one God and it's probably me. So things are just getting really bananas. So obviously her control continues to grow, and so did some accusations that started coming out about old Gwenny gal.
Well, she's like secretly binging on some cakes back there.
Over there, and it wasn't Weight Watchers. So former members started making some rumors that she was just controlling the life of all of the followers, and so they were pressured, here we go, to cut ties with ungodly fat family members. They gotta go
with the Colonel.
It's like this is a Bojangles disaster. Like there would be no bow rounds for you in this cult.
If anybody asks you to give up Bojangles, it's a cult.
It's a cult, yeah. And not only did you need to cut ties with your ungodly family members, it was your duty, Adele, to report each other's sins and submit every decision, marriage, money, discipline to church leadership. So like if you saw your brother or sister out here eating Bojangles, you better go tell Gwen. Like, I know Adele's my sister and I love her, but I literally saw a Bo's sweet tea in her hands. It was my duty. I didn't want to, but I had to, Adele. You're a sinner.
Sarah was chewing gum, and I know that's not eating, but I think she was enjoying the taste of it too much.
She swallowed it.
She swallowed that bubblicious.
So then we get into discipline, okay? So this is just heartbreaking. So we're 2003. The church was thrust into the spotlight when two members, Joseph and Sonia Smith, were convicted of murdering their 8-year-old son. And so they had followed the discipline methods taught by Remnant, and the church, of course, denied any responsibility. But the damage was done. Like people started really looking closer, and this is what they found unsettling. Followers were allegedly told not to see outside therapists.
Mm-hmm.
Families who left the church were shunned.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gwen surrounded herself with an inner circle who praised her relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, her hair continued its supernatural ascent to the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps getting skinnier and skinnier, and her hair just keeps literally getting bigger and bigger. Like it's crazy. So here we go. Glamour God in the fall. So after divorcing her husband in 2018, which she doesn't believe in divorce, but for her it was okay.
Well, yeah, because she's God.
Yeah. So Gwen then married, you're not going to believe this, guys, Joe Lara. And you're probably like, who the hell is Joe Lara? Well, he's a B-list actor best known for playing Tarzan in the 90s.
Okay.
That's who she marries. And so Joe styled himself also as a country singer, a lifestyle coach, and a spiritual advisor, despite zero formal training in any of those things.
He sounds very grounded in reality.
Very grounded. So together they made a very interesting couple, right? Like you've got glamorous, they're eccentric, and they're very into private jets, as most people are like this. So they started broadcasting. They wanted to do a reality show, and they wanted to call it Life with Gwen and Joe. And so it was a live stream series that combined cooking, devotion, music, it was just whatever they felt like, And so it was basically like televangelism meets reality TV with this little splash of QVC. Let me sell my diet products to you. while I'm at
I feel
it. You
like
know,
it's
just
possible I saw some of their commercials or something.
I feel like it probably was. And then, y'all aren't going to believe this. May 29th, 2021, their private jet crashed on the way to a Trump rally into Priest Lake shortly after takeoff. On board were Gwen, Joe, and 5 remnant leaders. There were no survivors. All right, so the crash was ruled an accident, but many thought it was symbolic because the literal downfall of a woman who spent decades convincing people she had a direct line to heaven. There were too many people on the plane. It was
Just too heavy?
it was too heavy.
Oh my god. They shouldn't have eaten so much that day.
So yeah, that was a tragic
Okay.
end.
Do we think they're really dead?
Well, we do, because here's after the end. So you would think that after Gwen's death, this church would obviously shatter. But the remnant church continued on, still operating, still tightly controlled by Gwen's children, Elizabeth and Michael. They remained very involved. And while the church doesn't speak to the media, obviously, former members and investigative journalists have continued to kind of peel back some layers of their secrecy. So in 2021, HBO released a documentary series called The Way Down, which exposed much of what we talked about and more. And the stories of just emotional abuse, manipulation, and extreme pressure to maintain appearances were just heartbreaking. Many former members say they're still recovering, not just physically, but from like extreme weight loss, but emotionally and spiritually from being told that they weren't worthy of God if they, if they were gained 10 pounds. So, here are my stormy thoughts from the pews. So, Gwen started with a message that probably came from a good place, right? Like maybe at the very beginning when she was out of school, she thought, hey, I'm going to help people that feel out of control. Um, One interview I watched with her dad was a surgeon, and she said she used to go to the hospital with him and was like, how can you stand to cut people open? And he's like, well, I'm healing them. I'm taking out the bad. So some people think maybe like that's where some of her like initially maybe wanting to help people started from, and then it just got out of control. She wrapped something as far as like theology drenched in like Southern performance and weaponized it into a system of control for her. So it's like she just took every insecure woman and said, hey, what if God hates you for it? And just like shame people into this. So, I mean, she was basically selling salvation through skinny. And when that didn't work fast enough, she's like, hey, I'm going to add on a layer of fear, control, and eventually full on cult behavior. So if someone tells you that your spiritual worth is tied to your gene size, you might want to say, bye, Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
So, final weigh in. Gwen Shamblin is gone, but her church does still remain, and her story, it's cautionary tale for anyone drawn to charisma, certainly in quick fixes. Cults don't always start with a prophecy. Sometimes they start with a diet. So whether it's a preacher, a life coach, or even a TikTok spiritual guru, if someone claims to have all the answers and a solution that just happens to revolve around, hey, them, run, y'all, and take your casserole with you. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, Adele, that is the story of Gwen Shamblin and dieting for Jesus.
And while on the topic of cults or extreme religions, we want to take a moment to speak directly to one of our listeners. You know who you are, and you informed us that you recently escaped one of the cults that we covered.
Yes.
And we just want to let you know that we're proud of you. We're glad you found the support you needed, and we hope you're out there thriving on the outside. And thanks for trusting us with your story, and it really meant a lot.
Yes, and I think that's the thing, like I'm so glad you reached out to us because people, I mean, do get drawn into these cults. And I mean, we were not nearly in one like you were, but just like with our church that we grew up in, it's just something so easy to get involved in. And you don't, it's like you always kind of deal with the aftermath of it. And just the fact that you broke away and that you were just able to kind of give us, let us know that you're well really meant a lot to Adele and I. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that. And we're glad that you're well and hope that you are like that story and this story, like maybe like it connects us all just to know that we're not alone in this. Like, it is very common to be in something that you think is initially a very good thing and then realize like, oh no, like this is not good. And it's hard to get out.
It is. I mean, a lot of times you kind of look at yourself like you're not doing this right because it doesn't feel right, or other people around you seem to, be more into it. It's because it's not, something's up. Just
Right.
trust your gut.
Trust your gut. And the living, sometimes they can be really bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I know we laugh when we're making fun and stuff, but I could honestly see where you would, especially during that time, be like, "Oh yeah, this would be so good for me," like to get healthy and be with good people. Like, yeah, like it seems like a completely harmless, like positive thing, and then it's horses like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring my sister with me to this," we're gonna do it together, and then our friends, and then all of a sudden, look at what could happen, and it's very just very scary.
If you think you might be in a cult or something just feels off, there are resources out there. You're not alone, and you don't have to untangle it by yourself. International Cultic Studies Association, ICSA, they have a website and resources. Cult Recovery Hotline from the Open Minds Foundation. You can reach its toll free number 1 800 519 2657. There's also RAIN for faith based abuse. Their hotline is 1 800 656 4673, or you can go to RAIN, RAINN.org. There's also Recovering from Religion, recoveringfromreligion.org. These are all contacts for support and probably people who have gone through the same thing that you're going through right now. So reach out, even if you're just uncertain.
I'm really glad that those exist. I'm glad that those exist because I think a lot more of us than we may realize,
Yeah.
were kind of indoctrinated into things that are not healthy, or good for us. And we may still carry some of that baggage, feeling like we're unloved and unworthy because that's what we were taught to believe. And that is not true, listener. Just know that you are loved and worthy of all good things and you're perfect just the way you are. So you remember that.
Yeah. Well, I guess should we spin the wheel?
We might as well.
Okay. All right, looks like I got a cryptid for next time.
Oh, your favorite.
Yeah.
And speaking of cryptids, I do want to thank Adele. If you haven't, so sh Adele is the brains, obviously, of this podcast. And I just want to thank her so much because she put together our first ever compilation series and it's out now. And if you haven't listened, it's so fun. She did a whole Camp Stormy Willow theme and it is a blast. I
It's
loved
pretty
it so
fun.
much. It's really fun.
I'm not gonna lie, it feels like a pop-up book or something if you watch it on YouTube.
It's pretty awesome. I
It's pretty
loved
fun.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way too much fun
Yes.
with the animations. We have some really cute cryptids.
Really cute. Well, Adele and I, in our minds, I don't think we see these things as scary like we might should. With like, oh,
No.
Jersey Devil is so cute. Like, I don't know that that's really a normal reaction
There's
to
something wrong
how
with
we're
us.
supposed to feel about things like Bigfoot. We're like, you are adorable. But then, like human beings, we're like, ah.
Ah. Yeah. Put me in a room with a baby, I'm horrified.
But yeah, you want to put us in a room with like, a monster, it's totally fine. We're there for it.
Give me the haunted house, not the nursery.
We would be like, this is the cutest decor I have ever seen in this haunted house. This is like we're in a Michael's or something.
That creepy ghost in the hallway, he's full of compliments. I like him.
him, where did you get this blood? It looks legit. These cobwebs are on point.
Love it. Oh, look, the furniture's already broken in for us.
Yeah, and that's how you end up with the podcast talking about this stuff right there when it's Halloween every day.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you guys enjoy the story. It was a wild one for sure. And as we say on our podcast, please stay safe out there, friends.
Stay curious.
And if you haven't learned by now, never trust the living.
Living.
Do it. Don't trust
What's
us.
wrong with you?
You got a pulse, keep on walking.
Living insane in the membrane.
And free in the brain. Bye, you guys.
Later, taters.